So next is about quantum efficiencies and avalanche photodiodes construction and working principle. So first is about the quantum efficiency. So we just look into the quantum efficiency here. So the quantum efficiency is the number of electron hole carrier pairs which are generated per the incident absorbed photon of the energy h v, and it is given by, so eta is equal to number of electron hole pairs generated, that is by ip by q. So this is the number of electron hole pairs which are generated by the number of incident the absorbed photons based on the incident light which is falling onto the photodetector material. So that is P in by HV. So IP is the photocurrent here. IP is the photocurrent generated by the steady state optical power P in. So this is steady state optical power, which is the input power, which is incident on the photodetector. So in a photodiode, if I consider, if 100 photons creates 30 to 95 electron hole pairs. So if I say that 100 photons are created here, 30 to 95 electron hole pairs, then D is equal to 30 to 95%. So this depends on, this efficiency part depends on the number of photons which are generated to the electron hole pairs which are generated to the incident absorbed photons. So to achieve this high quantum efficiency, the depletion region must be thick. So this is very important. We already saw that the thickness of the depletion region and the concentration of the impurities, that is doping, should be properly done for these materials which are used in a photodetector. So they must be thick enough to permit a large fraction of the incident light which is to be absorbed. So thick depletion layer will make the photo generated carriers to take longer time to drift. So that is very important. So the depletion region width should be more and it should be thick, so that the photo generated carriers should take longer time to drift across this reverse bias junction. So due to the drift velocity, the speed of these charges or speed of these carriers will be less. So it can travel a longer, it can take a longer time to travel or to move in this reverse bias region. So drift velocity. If I consider the diffusion velocity, then it is very fast in comparison with the drift velocity of this material of the carrier. Then carrier drift time determines the response speed. So a compromise is done between the response speed and the quantum efficiency. So normally when we go with the speed and the efficiency, there should be a trade-off between these two factors. Because if I just look into the efficiency, if I try to increase only the efficiency, quantum efficiency, then it will affect the speed, response speed of the device. If I just look into the response speed of the device, it will not give me a proper efficiency. So there should be a trade-off, there should be a compromise between these two. Then the performance of a photodiode is often characterized by the responsivity. So responsivity will determine the performance of this photodiode, what we are going to select for converting an optical signal into an electrical current. So that is very important. And this quantum efficiency is related to the responsivity by R is equal to IP by P in. So IP is a photodetector current, P in is the input power which is falling on the photodiode or photodetector. That is equal to N into Q by H into B. So this is dependent on the responsivity. So this specifies the photocurrent which are generated per unit optical power. So this shows the comparison of D and R as a function of wavelength lambda. So the efficiency and the responsivity is a function of wavelength. So whenever we see that there is change in the responsivity, then uh, whenever there is a the device is operated with different wavelengths with different material and different responsivity, we see that the quantum efficiency is going to be changed. So at particular wavelength, say 1.2 micrometer, we see that the quantum efficiency is just 10%. And if I see that the responsivity, if it is more, so if I see here the responsivity is something around zero point 0.5, then at zero point 0.5 I can see that the quantum efficiency is higher. So there should be a trade-off, so there should be a balance between all this, and in selecting these materials for in improving the thickness of the intrinsic layer or the depletion region. And quantum efficiency is not constant at all the wavelengths. So we can observe here the quantum efficiency is not constant, and it is varying according to the photon energy which is going to be falling on the photodiode. So that is this. Then responsivity falls off rapidly beyond the cutoff wavelength because photon energy becomes less than the required to excite an electron from valence to conduction band. So responsivity is going to be affected depending on the photon energy. If it is becoming lesser, which cannot excite an electron from valence to conduction band, so that recombination process is going to be affected whenever there is no proper excitation of electron from a particular band, which mainly depends on the energy band gap. So if that thing doesn't happen, then there is a problem in recombination. Then we move on to the avalanche photodiode. So that is in short AP diode. So the AP diode is normally used to achieve very high gain in comparison with pin photodiode. But again, if in achieving very high gain, it has got several drawbacks in terms of other factors too. So APD internally multiply the primary signal photocurrent. So that is a main idea of using AP diode, which can improve the performance in terms of gain. So it is going to multiply internally the primary signal. So initially it is going to multiply the signal photocurrent before it enters the circuitry of a amplifier. So before the signal gets amplified, so it is going to multiply the signal photocurrent. So that is one of the advantage of AP diode. So this increases the receiver sensitivity. Whenever there is a multiplication happens with the primary signal photocurrent, then the receiver sensitivity is going to be changed. It's going to be increased. So since the photocurrent is multiplied before encountering the thermal noise associated with the receiver circuit. So whenever we go with the thermal noise, that is the noise which is produced by the selection of RL, and even the amplifier is going to produce an amplifier noise. So two different noises gets added to the system if I consider it for an AP diode before the amplification process or before the thermal noise which is going to be introduced into the system. The signal primary signal photocurrent is going to be multiplied. So that is the advantage of the AP diode, which can increase the receiver sensitivity. So that is the use, or that is the benefit of using a AP diode. Then we have basic principle of this AP diode. For carrier multiplication to take place, the photo-generated carriers are made to traverse or are made to move a region where a very high electric field is present. So that is what we have already seen in PIN photodiode. We require a very high electric field which is produced. So due to the presence of very high electric field, then only the carrier multiplication can easily happen. So in this field region, a photo-generated electron or a hole will gain enough energy so that it ionizes the bound electrons in the valence band upon colliding with them. So the photo-generated electron or a hole will get enough energy due to the high field which is produced here. So this carrier multiplication mechanism, what we come across in this particular high field region, is known as impact ionization. So similar kind of operation is done. The carrier multiplication, or what we call it as recombination, is done in a pin photodiode. So similar kind of multiplication is done here, but this is a process where the signal gets multiplied initially, so that is impact ionization. Then the newly created carriers are also accelerated by the high electric field. So that is one of the advantage of a high electric field, which can accelerate the carriers which are already created. So thus gaining enough energy to cause further impact ionization. So the gain is obtained. The energy has got energy more and more. So this phenomenon is called avalanche photodiode. Sorry, avalanche effect of the photodiode. So below the diode breakdown voltage, a finite total number of carriers are created. So whereas above the breakdown, the number of carriers can be infinite. So that is the thing what we have to look upon. So if I consider the diode breakdown voltage, a finite total number of carriers are created. That is below the diode breakdown voltage. If the voltage is exceeding this diode breakdown voltage, then the number of carriers are going to be infinite. So that is advantage of this particular breakdown voltage of the diode. A commonly used structure of for achieving this carrier multiplication is called reach-through construction. So this construction is named as reach-through construction based on the carrier multiplication which can be achieved. So this is the structure of AP diode. So we see that N plus, which is highly doped region with low resistivity, and P, which is lightly doped with high resistivity. Intrinsic, which is again moderately doped here. P plus is the region of highly doped with low resistivity. So this is the depletion region where actually the carrier multiplication takes place in the device. So we see that this is the avalanche region. This is called as an avalanche region between the highly doped N type material, that is N plus region, and P material. And the minimum field which is required for impact ionization is at this point. So that is reach through avalanche photodiode structure. So this structure is called reach through photodiode structure. And again this is reverse biased. We consider the entry of the charges from P plus region to N plus region, and most of the carriers multiplication process takes place in this P n plus region. So in terms of construction, the reach through avalanche photodiode is composed of high sensitivity p-type material which is deposited as an epitaxial layer here on the substrate, so which is heavily doped p-type material. And a p-type diffusion or ion implant, this is the ion implant, is made in the high resistivity material. So high resistivity material in the sense low doping concentration, no impurity elements added to it, followed by the construction of an N plus, which is heavily doped layer. So this layer is very lightly doped with high resistivity. Then for silicon, the dopants used to form these layers are normally boron and phosphorus. So the material used here as a dopant for this particular silicon epitaxial layer is boron and phosphorus. So this configuration is referred to as P plus pi, Pn plus reach through structure. So this structure is named as reach through structure. So the pi layer is basically an intrinsic layer that has some p doping because of imperfect purification. So that is pi what we are going to observe here. Then operation. The term reach through arises from the photodiode operation. So when a low reverse bias voltage is applied, most of the potential drop is across P n plus region. So that is the last part of the device where we see that P n plus region together. So the depletion region is going to widen with increasing bias until a certain voltage is reached. So at which the peak electric field at the Pn plus junction is about 5 to 10% below that is needed to cross an avalanche breakdown. So this is the breakdown voltage. So due to the high electric field which is at Pn plus junction, so that will be raised or increased, or that reaches to a value which is 5 to 10% below that of the needed cross avalanche breakdown voltage. So that is a very important task. So at this point, the depletion region just reaches through to nearly intrinsic pi region. So this is the 5 to 10% voltage what we look into. So that is essential in order to reach through this intrinsic region. So in normal usage, the reach avalanche photodiode is operated in fully depleted mode. So light enters the device through P plus region and it is absorbed in this intrinsic region which is called as a pi region. So upon absorbing the photon, it gives up its energy, thereby creating electron hole pairs. So that is very important. So the electron hole pairs are then separated by the electric field in this pi region. So these pairs, electron hole pairs, get separated in this particular region by this electric field which is produced. And these carriers drift through the pi region in the Pn plus junction where a high electric field is existing. So this is very important. The presence of high electric field in the Pn plus junction makes the carrier to drift through this pi region or intrinsic region. So that is a very important aspect of having a high electric field in the detector. So it is in this high field region the carrier multiplication takes place. Normally the same thing happens here. In comparison with the AP pin photodiode, it remains same. So the average number of electron hole pairs which are created by the carrier per unit distance which is traveled is called as ionization rate. So we earlier discussed about impact ionization. The same process here we are considering as the rate, the average number per distance calculated, it is ionization rate. So mostly semiconductor materials exhibit different ionization rate for electron uh, holes. That is, electron ionization rate is referred by alpha and hole ionization rate is referred by beta. So if I want to measure the photodetector performance, I have to look into the hole ionization rate to the electron ionization rate. So that is K is equal to beta by alpha, which measures the photodetector performance. So we look into the diagram where alpha and beta are experimentally obtained values for 5 different semiconductor material. Yeah. So here we see that the reflection ionization rate with respect to the electric field. So that is required. So for different materials used, the ionization rate is going to be affected due to the electric field present. So as and on, if we see that the high electric field intensity is produced or considered, we see that the ionization rate is going to be increased. So the multiplication M for all the carrier generated in a photodiode is given by Im by Ip. So M is Im by Ip, where Im is the average value of the total multiplied output current and Ip is the primary or unmultiplied photocurrent. So that is what we have. M represents the multiplied photocurrent and the output current, and Ip represents the unmultiplied photocurrent. So if I find the ratio of these two, I can find what is M. So here analogous to pin photodiode, so that is in comparison with pin photodiode, the performance of the avalanche photodiode is characterized by responsivity. So that is very important, responsivity, which is given by RAPD. So that is responsivity of the avalanche photodiode. That is equal to NQ by HV into M. So earlier we had just responsivity with respect to NQ by H gamma or HV. Now we have one more term called as M. So that is Im by IQ, sorry, IP. And R is the unity gain responsivity of the detector. So this is what we consider in terms to measure the responsivity of any material which is a photodetector. So here we have compared AP diode working with the pin photodiode. And whenever we look into the AP diode, the gain of the AP diode is almost 200 times more than the pin photodiode. But there are drawbacks in AP diode, that is efficiency gets affected, response time may be affected due to the very high gain factor, and also due to the selection of the materials in P, pi and P plus and N plus regions, selection of impurities and making the depletion region thickness more and more. So that is a very important concept here in order to measure the performance of this photodiode.